This is the wheel off a mountain bike that I'm working on, and right now feels kind of gritty when I turn it back. So I am expecting there's an issue with the Freehub in there. It also has a little bit more play than I think there should be. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the Freehub, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You want to start off by removing the skewer. Don't lose the springs. And then go ahead and just put this on there so we don't lose it. Put that aside. Then we want to remove the cassette, so you're going to need like a cassette remover tool and a chain whip to hold the cassette there. And use this to loosen the lock ring there. And then the whole cassette should just come right off there. Put that aside. Next I want to go ahead and remove these lock nuts at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and use a crescent wrench on one side, on the bottom side, to hold it down there. And then use my other crescent wrench to hold the one up here. And then loosen. So this one's coming off up here. Pull that off. And it looks pretty ugly in there, so I'm going to overhaul this whole thing anyway. And then I've got the cone here, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this cone. And then I can go ahead and slide the axle out of here. Now that I have the axle out, I can use a 10mm Allen wrench. That's the most common. Some other Freehubs might use a slightly different size, but this will fit right down into there. And then I can use this to go ahead and remove the Freehub body by turning it counterclockwise. Just like that. And then just unscrew it. Just like that. And that is how you remove the Freehub body. I'm going to go ahead and pull these bearings out, and I'm going to go ahead and replace all those bearings. Okay, now I'm ready to put this thing back together. So I have the old freewheel hub body here. Pull that part out and set that right down there. There's a spacer on there, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. And I have a new freewheel hub body here. Well, it's used, but it's in better condition than the one that was on the bike. I couldn't find a new one because it's just out of manufacture now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the spacer onto here. It's going to line up. There's a little wide notch there, so it's going to fit like that. Then I got this little part here. Slide this in. Slide that on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten this onto the wheel. There. And that just turns much more smoothly. It has a lot less play. Now I have some grease, just generic like automotive type grease. I'm going to go ahead and repack the races with grease here. Like that. And I have some brand new ball bearings. These are 1/4 inch bearings. And there were 9 on each side, so I'm just going to go ahead and insert these down into the races. So there's 9 bearings on that side. repack the race on this side as well. Insert the bearings. I pulled the axle out from the Freehub side, so I'm going to slide that in. Then I have the cone, so I'm going to go ahead and slide this and screw this down here. Okay, get the cone loosely adjusted on there. Now I've got this little spacer. Just going to slide that on there. There's another little spacer there, and then I'm going to put the lock nut on and put the ridges facing out. So go ahead and screw that on there, like that. Then I have a cone wrench here. So we go ahead and adjust the cone. And then tighten the lock nut down into place against the cone, just by finger tight at the first. Then feel how the axle moves. It's binding up just a hair. So I'm going to go ahead, loosen this, loosen the cone just a little bit, then tighten this again, and then feel how it turns. Still just a little tight. So loosen this up again. And I can tighten the cone out into it just a hair. And the feel, and that's moving nice and smoothly there. So go ahead and hold the cone and then lock and tighten this lock nut down. Test it. Moves nice and smoothly. Now I've got this little dust cover here, so I'm going to go ahead and just slide this over and snap that into place like that. Then go ahead and put this little spacer, because it fell off while I had the wheel upside down. So go ahead and slide that on. Like that. Put the cassette on. There's, let me see. There's one little wide part on there, and that matches up with this wide notch on here. So that slides on. Like that. Then there were a couple of other little pieces here that goes on there like this, and this has got a wide notch right there, so that fits on like that. Got the little lock ring here. Let me see, and then get it threaded on nice and smoothly to start off with. Get my crescent wrench here. Tighten it down. And you don't really need to gorilla this thing on. Just tighten it down so that the little lock ring's not going to come off. Now just go ahead and reinstall the skewer, and that is how you replace a freewheel hub body. I hope that helps.